Okay, hello, welcome back to Wednesday Night Bible Study with Christina Catane from Mental Ministries, Church of the Nazarene. Um, Sorry for the late start there. I had to turn my computer off and turn it back on. And then that seemed to do the job. I'm not sure what was wrong with my microphone, but it would not work. Okay, so let's start over. We're going to talk today about the birthplace of Jesus Christ. In our American folklore of Christmas, Christian American folklore of Christmas, we have Jesus being born in a stable with cows and chickens and donkeys and other things, and little drummer boys coming and things like that. But in truth, this was not at all what it was like. And there's a lot of symbolism in really deep, strong symbolism in the actual birthplace of Christ. And so I wanted to go through that with you. It's going to be a little bit of a short Bible study tonight, but I think it's really interesting. So in the fields around Bethlehem, which is the city of David, and it was called the city of David because in First Chronicles 11, David took it from the people that had it and took it over and made it his stronghold. And he stayed there, and that became the city of David. And so all the sheep, though, that were raised in the fields around Bethlehem were not regular sheep. These were sheep whose lambs were potentially slated to be used as sacrifices in the temple. And so they were not raised by regular shepherds. They were raised by shepherd priests. And these were special priests whose job it was to take care of the sheep and to make sure that any male sheep that was born without spot or blemish and was kept from harm, so that it could be used as a sacrifice. So not only were the shepherds actually priests, but they would have had to keep everything ceremonially clean. So there would have been no other animals in the stable. The only animals in the stable would be the ewes giving birth to their lambs. Most of the time, the shepherds would let ewes give birth out in the fields, normal sheep. But these were not normal sheep. These were sheep whose lambs could potentially be sacrifices. And so they would bring the ewes into this stable, and it was actually a watchtower called Migdal Eder. And I have a picture. This is the actual tower. The stable part was in the bottom, and the shepherds would live on the top. And then there were all those windows around the top so they could see the sheep out in the fields. Excuse me. So when a ewe was about to give birth, they would bring her into the stable in the bottom part, and they would watch her. And when she gave birth to a lamb, if it was a male, they would immediately take that male and wrap it in swaddling cloths and lay it in a manger because it could not have any broken limbs. And so they wanted to keep these lambs from running around and possibly breaking a leg. And so they would wrap them up and lay them in the manger, and then other shepherds would come whose job it was to inspect the lambs. And they would come and inspect the lambs and declare them worthy of becoming a sacrifice. And then at that point, that lamb would join the royal flock, the temple flock. And so I don't know if you can already see the symbolism here. And how Jesus was born. It makes me want to cry. When Mary and Joseph came to Bethlehem, it wasn't that they went from end to end and nobody had any room for them and they had to take somebody's dirty old barn. No, this was a stronghold of David, and they were of the line of David, and so it was their right to stay here. And so they would go in there. They went in there, and Mary gave birth to Jesus, and they wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger. And then shepherds came and inspected him and declared that he was worthy. And so you can see that through the whole story of his birth, how it goes along with what actually happened with lambs that were going to be used as sacrifices. And Jesus became our Passover lamb. He became our sacrifice when he was crucified on Passover, when he was 33 years old. So, if you want to see a little bit more scriptural proof, I have here in Micah, which is one of the minor prophets. Oh, and I made it so small I can't read it. Let me put my glasses back on. This is a prophecy about the watchtower of the flock. And it says, "As for you, watchtower of the flock, stronghold of daughter Zion, the former dominion will be restored to your kingship, will come to your daughter Jerusalem. Why do you now cry aloud? Have you no king? Has your ruler perished, that pain seizes you like that of a woman in labor? Writhe in agony, daughter Zion, like a woman in labor. For now you must leave the city to camp in the open field. You will go to Babylon, and there you will be rescued. There the Lord will redeem you out of the hand of your enemies." And so that second half reminds us how after Jesus was born, Caesar sought to kill him, and so they had to flee for Babylon or Egypt in order to save his life. So that is a prophecy of the Messiah right there. And it specifically names the watchtower of the flock, or this tower called Migdal Eder in Bethlehem. And so that is basically what I have for you today. It's really something to think about how God's plan for Jesus to become our sacrificial lamb was there from the very start, and it started in the place and the manner of his birth. It started long before that. I mean, you could go through the Old Testament and you could see all of the prophecies of the Messiah and how the plan was there all along. But it just brings me to tears that he wasn't born in any old barn. He was born in the watchtower of the flock where the sacrifices were born. So I hope that you guys had a great Christmas, and we'll have a Happy New Year. And we will be back after the New Year with more Bible studies. I'm not sure where I'm going with the Bible study yet, but if you have any suggestions, send me a message and we'll talk about it. So God bless you and have a great rest of the year.